is a really good spot to stop. Around us, we have a lot of fresh items, but we also have a lot of items that have been processed. Look behind you, see a lot of sausage rolls. You see a lot of pre-seasoned. Over here, you see a lot of pre-packaged. Again, you got to worry about what's on that, what's in it. I didn't do it. You didn't do it, right? So you need to read your labels to understand what you're buying. Hey, it made me really fast by pre-seasoned. Processed meats, chickens, nuggets, things like that. You guys know what I'm going to say. That stuff is heavily. That's where I get a little suspicious. Charges you about $250 a pound. And then you're not getting all parts and pieces either. And so the good thing is we know what to do with all parts and pieces now, right? So first things first, I got these 3 loaves. First thing I do is take off the end. Okay, so first thing I do is I'm going to take my end off and set that aside. I'm going to make my first what I'm basically doing here is I'm making these little sirloin medallions, right? You can kind of see how that looks. So maybe we're going to do some steaks on the grill one night. These are nice little portions. You can really load up on your veg. We'll talk about portions a little bit too.
So how much is it to buy a whole one of those per pound?
$2 or $3 cheaper per pound, easily. And so now you can see all these little steaks that I've got, right? I've got all these little steaks. You can see those, right? All these little sirloins. And then I've got some ends. Let's just call this an end. Let's call this an end, okay? And as I break down these loaves, I can keep making more steaks. And then when I get to the end, I've got a little end piece, right? So take these ends, and none of them are garbage, right? First of all, I'm going to trim this fat off of this guy. And cut this into cubes. So now I've got my stew meat. Really good stew meat too. This isn't junk, this is sirloin, right? And but you're paying less per pound than you do for the junk. Right. So I've got my stew meat here, or say, chunks of chili, I call it steak chili. You go crazy for that. And then all I'm getting rid of is just the little tiny pieces that are mostly fat. And again, I can turn that into some beautiful stock. But I've got all these cubes that I'm using with all of these end cuts, right? And again, you can do this with pork, you can do this with any cut of beef. I always buy, if I'm going to do tenderloin steak, I'm buying the whole roast. And I'm going to go down and make the most decadent, red wine sauce using that beef stock underneath the scraps. Or ribeye. I buy the whole prime rib. Maybe I'm buying the whole prime rib and making the whole prime rib. But either way, if I'm buying meat, I want to do something that's more economical, and I want to do something that I can stretch a lot further. So, and that's what I can do with this. So I just keep going until I have this whole thing broken down. And you can see, I've only done one loaf. And I've got all the steaks and all this food. Right?
You still have 2 more of
And I still have 2 more loaves. That's just a third of the meat. So understand how far you can stretch this. Again, it can be frozen. This can be otherwise manipulated to make it last. Maybe you're like, well, that's a lot of meat, chef. Well, it is. But you can save a lot of money as long as you keep it.
How do you freeze it so it doesn't get freezer burned?
You want to get rid of all the air. So the biggest thing is to get rid of all the air. So if you're just gonna wrap it, you need to wrap it really tight. If you're gonna put it in a bag, you would squeeze out all the air. The best thing to do is to cryo wrap it. You know, suck all the air out and seal it with the vacuum seal. Again, it's an investment, but if you do it a lot, it pays for itself really quickly. And how much you can extend the life of fruit, how much you can extend the life of meat, how much you can extend the life of everything. Because air is